Hi, I'm Radhika, and this is my Can I Have It All story. I would say define my own ethics and then absolutely no compromise on those ethics. That is something that is key, both in your professional as well as personal journey. Second, also professionally, I would say defining my own boundaries and then kind of stating those boundaries upfront to my relevant stakeholders and ensuring that everyone tries to work around those boundaries. I'd start with aligning the biological clock first. That is very important. So after my second child, I think I could just feel the difference in the energy that I had after, when I had my first child versus the second one. And the taking care of my physical self was non-negotiable, was really, really important. So I kind of respect and value and take, care of my personal self by putting myself out there first. I did try a few things apart from brisk walking, like gymming, playing some sport, yoga. What worked for me personally was yoga, and I've been really practicing that very religiously now for the last 3+ years. And that way, I know physically it's kind of making me feel ready to take on the day every single day. So that's how I take care of my biological clock. Coming to the career clock, I would say, leveraging support from the spouse, from my in-laws, and from my parents. I would say basically just asking for help, both personally and professionally, whenever needed, without hesitation. That has really worked well for me. And it's been my personal experience that once you do ask for help, everybody out there is really naturally willing to provide you that support, those resources that you need to be able to carry on your chores well. To me, work-life balance is anything that you do that keeps you sane at the end of the day. When there is sanity still intact, that to me is work-life balance. We all kind of struggle with it. We all kind of try to have our own coping mechanisms to deal with that situation. More than me, I can think of some relevant examples from my colleagues. I had a very dear friend who was in sales, and I remember she had a long commute pre-pandemic from office to home, and the way she would handle that commute is that during that 1 hour in the car, she would be on the call with her kids and really understand about what happened in the school and also teach them a few subjects. So by the time she reached home, she didn't have that guilt that she hasn't spent any time with her kids, so far. That's one example. Then there was another example. My current colleague, she gets to work a lot with US stakeholders. So she mentioned to me that because she has to work with US stakeholders and there is an expectation on either sides for either an early morning call or a late evening call, she has made it very, very clear that between 5 to 8, it's her family time. So, she would not be taking any calls during that time. And she says that without any guilt, she ends up spending that time with her family, including having dinner. And post 8, she logs back again. She's much more energized. She's less guilty of not spending time with the family, and then kind of goes on to take calls for a couple of hours and make sure that her work is not impacted. So I'd say there are different coping mechanisms for everybody, and whatever kind of makes you feel fine at the end of the day and keeps your sanity in place, that is work-life balance. Honestly, my answer will be a little biased here because I'm in HR and I have been a part of policy making in most of the organizations that I've worked for. I'd say, over the last 16 years, what I have observed is that the leaders are becoming more and more accepting of the fact that there need to be differentiated policies, and more and more interested in what's really going on in the market. What can we do different to make make it a better workplace for our women colleagues? That openness, that I would say awareness, is a great step in the right direction. Although I feel we still have a long way to go long way to go, and there are still a lot of unaddressed concerns for women all across. But being a part of some of the organizations where I would say the push was more from the leaders to kind of make policies which would help our associates, stay with us longer, especially our women associates, is a very, very, I would say, interesting insight for me personally, how the evolution has taken place over a period of time. But at the same time, I'd also want to kind of leave a message to all our women colleagues, working women, that if at any point in time there is a flexibility that they need to ask for from their current employer or prospective employer, without really impacting the deliverables, without really impacting the outcomes, I'd say don't hesitate asking for it at least. Whether or not it is granted is a separate thing, but once you've put your ask out there and given an assurance that work will not get impacted, I, in my experience, have really seen, including myself, we've made certain exceptions for certain women, considering the criticality of that talent, criticality of that role, and the mere fact that, okay, by doing a slight change for this particular person, maybe she would continue to serve us longer, and our work does not get impacted. All this then kind of is important, therefore, for women to come out there and at least ask for whatever they need. I'd say, so those are some small steps from both sides to then eventually create an environment with or without policies that helps in, I'd say, making it a better workplace for everyone. I'll start with my own upbringing. That played a very, very crucial role in ensuring that I follow my aspirations. I was brought up unequal. I have a brother, and both of us never felt that one is being favored over the other, at least on the basis of gender. Otherwise those feelings everybody has, you love him or you love her more, etc. But we were raised equal. I was encouraged to follow my aspirations as much as my brother was encouraged to follow his. I think for that, therefore, I never felt that why should I not be working or continue to work even after marriage or even after kids. So that there was an inherent belief that way. Second, I'd say, knock on the wood, but I've been married to a spouse who would place more importance to my dreams than even his own, and he's been equally encouraging for me to kind of pursue my dreams. So I think those are two very, very important close-knit family reasons that kept me going. Having a trusted circle is, I would say, extremely important. No one does it alone, whether it is your mentors, whether it is even your team. I've been so many times vulnerable in front of my teams, and I've asked for help, and everybody's always been there. More so mentors than those trusted people, because what they see is that they continue to put their own biases aside. They continue to show that confidence in you, show that faith in you, belief in you that you'll be able to achieve what you set out to. That just gives you an impetus to continue going and pursuing your dream. There are many people, there are many women who continue to inspire me on a daily basis. I'd say, in the professional space, Indira Nui, Leena Nair, Anuranjita Kumar. I think when I look up to them, I feel there is a lot of distance still to be covered, and it continues to inspire me just to kind of see what all they have achieved in their lives, and it's just incredible. Recently I also had an opportunity to meet a very, very young woman mountaineer. Her name is Priyanka Mohite. We had called her for to kind of meet us and address all fellow women associates. She has really left a very, very big mark on me. Oh, there are so many advices I want to give to myself, a younger myself, because I think I did a lot of mistakes while growing up in my professional journey. But I think if there was one that would stand out and that would make the younger Radhika a little calmer, would be learning more and more about, I would say, abundance set, the fact that there is enough and more space for everyone to do well. So that would kind of make her more confident of being able to, go out and achieve what she sets out to achieve. And even to my, fellow colleagues who would be watching this, that there is enough and more resources for everyone to be successful. So, worry less, do more, learn more, and I think eventually everything does fall in place.